Okay, so let me paint you a picture. It's a beautiful Monday, July 21st, 1996, and the sun is just doing its thing, you know? Shining bright. This small rural town has a certain rhythm, a slow, sleepy, don't bother me before my coffee kind of mode. And at the heart of it all is an old ranch-style home, a place known as the Quinner Chaos Emporium. A woman, by the name of Persephone Quinner, a middle-aged blonde broad who has officially traded ambition for a comfy spot on the couch. Her life goals are simple. Find the softest blanket, the nearest bottle of alcohol, locate the remote, and maybe, just maybe, 5 minutes of silence without hollering at her heathen brood. This is one household you may find on an episode of Love After Lockup Living with Persephone is Brutus. Brutus is her lanky worm-like shack-up honey whose energy levels are set to power-saving mode permanently. Then there are Persephone's 4 unkept kids who are basically a whirlwind of noise, sticky hands, and endless questions. They're like little tornadoes with snack requests, running through the house and leaving a trail of toys and crumbs in their wake. The day usually starts with screaming and hollering at the kids, whom are left to fend for themselves. And if they can't, they go bother one of the neighbors. To Persephone, it's a beautiful, messy, wonderful life. To the rest of the street, it's one phone call away to the township building or Child Protective Services. Constitution Street is one of those places where everyone knows everyone's business. We have Mrs. Bush across the street, who takes great pride in her yard and proudly walks 8 miles a day, rain, snow, or shine. Diagonally, there's Mr. Bunker, a military-minded man who keeps his lawn trimmed with military precision. The Quinner's yard, by comparison, is a bit of a shit show. It's a testament to their philosophy. To hell with it. Or, more accurately, let's see how long we can put off yard work before someone from the township sends a strongly worded letter. It's a delicate balance of procrastination and not giving a shit. So on this particular afternoon, Persephone achieved peak relaxation. She was horizontal on the sofa, deep into a fascinating episode of Jerry Springer. The kids were surprisingly quiet, which usually means they're still in bed if it's before noontime on a non-school day. Brutus was in the kitchen, probably staring into the open fridge with a cigarette in hand, contemplating the mystery of the universe. The air was still, the house was peaceful, and Persephone thought, this is it. This is the perfect moment, awaiting the on-air television fight over someone's extramarital affair. However, the universe had other, much louder plans for Persephone's day. The calm, as they say, was about to get mowed over. The peace was shattered by the sound of Brutus clearing his throat. He walked into the living room, hands on his hips, and pointed out the window. Persephone, he said, with all the gravity of a world leader, get up off your ass and mow the yard. It looks like hell. Persephone squinted at the yard, which, to be fair, was starting to resemble a lost world. She swore she saw a garden gnome disappear into the tall grass last week and hadn't seen it since. She moaned, "Go to hell, Brutus. It's still green, isn't it? What the hell do you want from me?" But Brutus was on a mission. "The bunkers are starting to stare," he continued, "and I think Mrs. Bush's Sheltie got lost in there yesterday." This led to what may be described in the Quinner house as a spirited discussion. Persephone argued that the long grass was good for the environment. It's what her daughter Gretchen told her she had learned in school. Brutus countered that the kids might get fleas if this keeps up. Persephone yelled in disgust, "The hell if I care, just pave the damn thing over!" Brutus responded, "You're lazy as hell, Persephone." It was a classic suburban standoff, a battle of wills between Brutus's sudden burst of motivation and Persephone's deep, deep commitment to doing absolutely nothing. Finally, after a few more minutes of back and forth, he delivered the final blow. "Get the hell out there and mow the damn grass!" Defeated, Persephone dragged herself off the couch. She felt like a hero in a tragic story, sacrificing her afternoon of relaxation for the greater good of the neighborhood's aesthetic standards. She was less than thrilled about it. With a dramatic sigh that could be heard 3 houses down, Persephone marched towards the garage. Brutus gave her a quick and, frankly, unhelpful tutorial on how to start the ancient lawnmower. "Just pull this cord, but not too hard, and make sure this lever is up, but not all the way up." It all sounded very complicated. Her mind was already drifting back to Jerry Springer and the televised paternity tests she would miss that day. Persephone grabbed the mower's handle, gave a half-hearted nod, took a deep breath, and prepared to face her grassy, green shit-bladed destiny. What could possibly go wrong? Persephone dragged the dinosaur of a push mower onto the lawn, feeling very put upon. She just wanted to get it over with. So she pushed forward, not really paying attention to where she was going. Her technique was creative. She mowed in zigzags, in circles, sometimes just standing in one spot for a while, letting the blades chew up a particularly stubborn patch of weeds. Persephone was making progress, sort of. The lawn was getting shorter in some places anyway. Then she saw it. Yesterday's newspaper still rolled up laying in the yard. Did she stop? Did she move it? Of course not. That would have required stopping, bending over, and using her brain. In that moment, it just seemed like another obstacle in her path to getting back to the couch to the Jerry Springer show. Her brain vaguely works on a regular basis, let alone registered, oh, newspapers, and then immediately decided it was the lawnmower's problem, not hers. Persephone aimed the roaring machine directly at the rolled-up newspaper, thinking it would just get pushed aside. She was so wrong. The moment the blades hit the paper, it was pure mayhem. It wasn't a gentle push, it was an explosion. The lawnmower didn't just mow over the newspapers, it devoured them, chewed them up, and spit them out in a million tiny pieces. A white tornado of shredded paper erupted from the side of the mower, shooting high into the air. It was like a ticker tape parade for a disaster. Little white flecks of newsprint, headlines, and comic strips caught the afternoon breeze and began to drift, beautifully and horribly, across the neighborhood. It was a papery blizzard on a hot summer day. Persephone kept on going, pushing the mower forward as she powered through the mess of newspaper and thick, clumpy grass, with the mower still sputtering and rumbling. The air was thick with paper confetti. It was settling on everything. It coated Mr. Bunker's neatly manicured lawn in a layer of white fluff. It drifted into Mrs. Bush's flower bed, resembling a scene from "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Persephone's half-mowed, patchy lawn was now a disaster zone of grass clippings and shredded secrets from last week's news. The first shout came from across the street. "Jesus Christ, Persephone! What in the hell are you doing?" Mrs. Bush was standing on her porch, clutching her heart and staring at her now polka-dotted flower beds. Before Persephone could even think of a response, a new voice boomed from the other side of the street. "What in the hell is this, you dumb jackass?" Mr. Bunker was on his lawn, looking at the white specks on his perfect green carpet, with an expression of pure disbelief. His daughter and friend walked around and started picking up the shreds of paper, looking at each other in disgust and fear. The girls stared in horror like they'd just witnessed a UFO landing. Persephone's quiet, lazy afternoon had officially become a public spectacle, and she was the star. Suddenly, Brutus came running out of the house, a look of horror on his face, waving his hands. "Persephone! What in the hell is this?" Brutus had a garbage bag in one hand and a rake in the other, ready for damage control. The four kids followed him out, not to help, but to witness the chaos up close. They started laughing and chasing the little paper scraps, trying to catch them like snowflakes. It was a full-blown suburban circus, and she was the drunk, grass-stained ringmaster. Brutus started frantically raking the shredded paper in our yard, while yelling at Persephone to stop the mower and get back in the house. Brutus shot Persephone a look that was part anger, part "I can't believe this." Persephone just gave him a little shrug. "Go to hell, Brutus." Mrs. Bush was muttering about property values, and Mr. Bunker was marching around his yard with the little girls, picking up individual pieces of paper as if they were toxic waste. The whole scene was utterly ridiculous, a perfect storm of laziness, bad decisions, and neighborhood drama. In the end, Persephone's neighbors hours to clean up most of the mess, with the kids being more of a hindrance than a help. As the sun started to set, casting a golden glow on the few remaining paper scraps, a strange thing happened. Brutus came out of the house with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth and finished cutting the yard, cleaning up the rest of the paper shreds while Persephone watched from the couch, finishing the last drop of vodka from her bottle. Mr. Bunker drove off down the street muttering to himself, "Those dumb shits." The absurdity of it all was just too much. And there it is, folks. Just another day in the life on Constitution Street in rural America.